to be talking about mastering our emotions and our thoughts using the ethos, pathos, logos filtering system. As you know from many occasions when you've lost your cool and you've gotten into fits of anger and frustration and stress, one of the most useful things we can know how to do is to manage our thoughts and our emotions. How can we lead others if we can't lead ourselves? So this is something like emotions management, anger management, and stress management all rolled into one. The best way to bring forth the skill of self-management and thought management is through a small anecdotal story I'm going to tell you about Socrates. So many thousand years ago in ancient Greece, the great master, great teacher Socrates was walking along. Someone runs up to the great master and says, "Master, master, I want to tell you something. I've found out something about one of your students, and I really have to tell you." So Socrates says, "Just a moment, take a pause. I will be happy to hear your story about one of my students as long as it passes these 3 questions that I want to ask you before I hear it." Man says, "Okay, fine. What's the first question?" Socrates says, "Tell me something. Do you know for sure that what you're about to tell me is true?" The man thinks about it a moment. He says, "Well, I'm not exactly 100% sure. I did hear it from someone who heard it from someone else. So I'm not really sure that it's true." So Socrates says, "Okay, the second question is it kind? Is the thing you're about to tell me kind?" The man thinks about it a little. "Well," he says, "well, not really. It's a little malicious, actually, not too kind of like a piece of gossip, juicy gossip I wanted to tell you." Socrates says, "Okay, that's interesting. And the third question," he says, "is it useful? Is this piece of information that you're going to tell me about one of my students useful? Is it going to be helpful in any way, shape, or form?" Man thinks about it and says, "Well, not really. It's not exactly for use or to be helpful or anything of that nature." So Socrates says, "Let me understand you a moment here." He says, "You want me to hear something that is neither true, nor kind, nor useful or helpful in any way." Says, "Well, my dear man, I don't think I want to hear it then." So, I think that's a very sweet story. It reveals the way that Socrates thought, and he's also revealing a lesson in here for us and the types of filters we need to pass our thinking through. Because you see, it's not only what other people are telling us where you can use these filters, but it's mainly to filter the thoughts that are going through our head with what some people refer to as your inner roommate. You're living with this person and he's living in your head. And he comes up just like that stranger came up to Socrates and always, is offering certain thoughts. So Socrates says, you really need to use these filters, which by coincidence correlate very nicely with ethos, pathos, logos. And that's exactly the object of our next askesis together. So again, I'd like you to take out the PDF, print it out, or type out the answers on your computer, however you choose. Okay, so the first step of this askesis is to write out very clearly in 2 or 3 sentences what is the thought that's causing you frustration and stress. I want you to really catch the thought in midair. So for example, I'll give you some examples I have written here. I'm afraid that I'll fail at my job and be fired. Could be the exact thought that's going through your head. I'm afraid that I will be found to be incompetent. Like, he just insulted me in front of a group of people. Maybe the thought that's getting you angry. Whatever it is, make it in the first person form, the thought as exactly it's running through your mind. I want you to write that out, giving you a moment or two to think about that. And when you're ready, I'll be here waiting. So the first filter is the filter of ethos. Ethos represents truth, integrity, and you really have to check your thought. Is it 100% true? Is it really true? I mean, be honest with yourself. Be brutally honest with yourself. Is it true? Because oftentimes we distort reality with our emotions and our thoughts. For example, you may be overgeneralizing. You may be dramatizing. Think about in which way you might be distorting reality and truth. Because ethos, your ethos, has 100% to do with the way that you can be truthful with yourself. I give you a few moments to think about that and write that down. So now the second filter we want to pass through is that of pathos. Pathos in the story, if you remember, has to do with kindness and emotions and thinking about the other persons involved. Is there kindness in your thought? Thinking about the kindness of that thought towards yourself. Is it kind towards yourself? Or is this thought a sort of self-sabotaging thought? Are you simply being mean to yourself? Are you putting yourself down, either to yourself or to other persons involved? And to help you out, to see the situation from a different perspective, I offer you this optical illusion of the young lady and the old lady. Now, some of you here may be perceiving the old lady in the picture. Some of you see the young lady in the picture. That's the other perspective. So I want you to use this opportunity, this optical illusion, to get unstuck. This is all under the category of pathos. Exercise your compassion and empathy, seeing things from a different perspective, a kinder perspective, one that considers other people's fears, insecurities, and considers your fears and insecurities and your dreams. So how kind is your thought to yourself and to others? I give you a few moments to self-reflect and write down your thoughts. And the last filter here in this context of managing your thoughts and your emotions is it useful? How useful is this thought that you just had? How useful is it in moving you along in the direction you want to move in helping other people along? Is it going to be useful in getting you where you want to go? If it's not useful, it's probably just being an obstacle in the way. So considering all of these three things will help you to manage your emotions and your thoughts better. So what I want you to do now is go back to the original thought, the thought that was causing you frustration, anger, and stress, and tweak it a little, change it a little, rephrase it in such a way that it will be empowering to you. Just really go back and overview that statement, because we want nothing but empowering thoughts. If you're going to take charge of your life, if you're going to take charge of the situation, we want empowering thoughts. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next module.